Hello there, my name is Aaron. Welcome to my home. I'll be your host for about the next 10-15 minutes or so as I do my product review video upon something that doesn't really need a product review video. The device I'm about ready to introduce already has a stellar fan base throughout the vaping community and the vape world. Hundreds of product review videos have already been done about this device, but I felt it important for me to throw in my 2 cents into the hat, throw out my opinion, because I do have one, and just do the best I can to do a review about something that's been overly reviewed. And without any further delay, I am doing a product review video upon a vape tank that was first introduced to me about 8.5 months ago from a very close personal friend of mine who got me into vaping and helped assist me to get me away from the cancer sticks. And the tank that I originally got atop my very first vape device, my first vape device was an iTaste VV 2.0. If you look in my playlist called Vaporosity, you will see a product review on that, so you can go there for more information on that. But getting back to what I'm doing here, I am introducing Kangaroo Protank 3 Mini. Awesome tank. This, what I hold in my hand, started me on my vape adventure, my vaping journey, walking the pathway to leave cigarettes behind and embrace health down the road. But this was, again, vape gifted to me. Wonderful tank. I don't use it too much anymore, even as wonderful as it is, and you know, I kind of feel like I owe this tank an apology for doing so. But as fellow vapors out there, you know that as you progress on your journey of vaping, getting healthy, leaving cigarettes and all that kind of stuff, that your vape gear seems to get better and better and more advanced, and things like Protank 2s, Protank 3s, and Protank 3 Minis most of the time get left on the shelf and collect dust, or are vaped forward to other people who are just putting their little tippy toe on the pathway of vaping to get away from cigarettes or whatnot. But the Protank 3 Mini, for the first couple months of my vaping, this was my staple, this was my go-to, this was my one and only. And I only use it now, like if I'm running short on sub-ohm qualified e-juice, like the low nicks 3 and 6. If I'm running low on that, I still got a lot of high nicotine e-juice left from these days. A lot of 18s, a lot of 16s, a lot of 24s, and I have 1 or 2 32s. So I got plenty of juice for this little bad boy, but don't tend to use it anymore. I'm into things like IPv4S's with Limo V1s. I'm into RDAs now, you know, RTAs. I'm into Atlantis V2s, both I have a clone and an authentic. You know, into the RDAs, the sub-ohming, building, and all that stuff. And that's what I was saying about progression. Most people venture away from this being their daily driver as far as vape gear, vape equipment. But I just wanted to say this has been a wonderful tank for me. And if you're just starting out, which this is pretty much what this video is intended for, is the basic entry-level person, possibly looking for a decent little vape tank, which can be a daily driver. You know, load it up once, vape on it, you know, 2 or 3 hours, 4 hours later, you load it up again, you're vaping, you know, it can go all day, it can handle that. But I love this tank. It's just shy of 1.5 milliliter capacity. The option to change out your drip tips, originally it came to me looking like that, right there with the real silo looking drip tip right there. I take those off, and I did have 3 Protank 2s. All of them were clones, which 1 broke and 2 had been vaped forward. So I did, on the broken one, keep its drip tip, and found out, whoa, I like that Protank 2 feel on a Protank 3 Mini, so I kept it. So I like this kind of a drip tip, but you can either change. You can take, you know, standard or stock, what came to it. It's no big deal. Again, just shy of 1.5 milliliter capacity. You will have to fill this up, you know, 2 to 3 hours into vaping if you're serious, like chain vaping or vaping at the level that you were when you were a smoker and such. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to, shut up about raving about this, shoulder level. I'm going to take a desk level, and we're going to break this bad boy down into its essential components and let you see what builds a Protank 3 Mini, what makes it up. And then shortly thereafter, we're going to put it all back together, and I'm actually going to go through one juice process, especially for the beginning vapors out there, to maybe learn how to properly load this thing up with e-juice and to properly build. So I'm going to be quiet now. We're going to go to desk level, and we're going to break this bad boy down, and I'll show you what it does. I'll be right there. And we're down to desk level, so we can see the parts that make up this awesome vape tank, the Protank 3 Mini by Kangaroo. Without any further ado here, I did include down here with the presentation the Protank 2 drip tip, which is interchangeable, which can replace the silo looking one, the pipe looking one. So I've already hinted when we were at shoulder level, I already hinted that. So I will take that out of the equation, and I will continue. You have the bottom main, actually top main piece that your drip tip fits into. You can see down the hole. That hole is part of the chimney. You have your just shy of a 1.5 milliliter tank, which is made up by actual certified Pyrex glass. Kangaroo does it, and Kangaroo does it up good. It's pretty much the best stuff out there. So you got the Pyrex tank right there, and then you have the bottom base that will actually help secure, because the chimney piece threads into the bottom base. And if the Pyrex was right in the middle, these are the two pieces that hold that Pyrex glass outer tank wall in place. So you have the bottom piece, the top chimney piece, the piece where the drip tip rests into, and you have basically what ties it all together as far as vapor production and airflow. You have the bottom piece where a Kangaroo 1.5, 1.8, 2.2 ohm little micro coil would fit on in there like so. And for the entry-level person, to pretty much where all my videos are intended to be, all pretty much geared towards entry-level, because I don't ever want to forget where I come from, where I came from. Even though I have some pretty awesome gear now, I try not to forget my modest starts, and these Kangaroo microcoils were an intimate, serious, powerful, intimate piece of the start of my vape journey, and several months into it, so I try not to forget, kind of where I come from here, and I want to gear my videos towards the entry-level starter person who might be figuring out how to use one of these Protank 3 Minis, or entertaining the notion of buying one. But for Kangaroo heads, you can go to your store, brick and mortars. If you buy them individually, they're about $2.75 each at my local brick and mortar where I used to buy these, or you can buy them in a 5-pack. That brick and mortar I went to sold them for $11.99. But in order to, and eventually you'll get to a stage to where you might want to be a builder, get into the build scene. I have a video tutorial inside my playlist called Vaporosity about rebuilding Kangaroo heads. So I have a video about that. So if you want to start rebuilding these, go watch my video. It's kind of long, but it'll pay dividends in the end if you can stick it out. But I'll put that right on down there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this together in its respectable parts. Take the top piece where the drip tip goes, and there's basically the chimney piece. I take my Kangaroo glass right here and boom. Put it right in there. Then you want to aim that little screw right there into the bottom and screw that bad boy on there like that. Boom, boom, boom. Just screw it on up. Boom. And then what I do is I put my drip tip on there. Nice drip tip. And what I do now is I'm going to introduce a very old vape juice that I have. It is the Mount Baker Vapor. It is the Black Clove. What nicotine level do I have this at? Looks like 24. Ooh, 24 even nowadays scares me, and I'm only 8.5 months into vaping, and I look at 24 now, and it's like, ooh, that could give me the shakes. But again, I only use this Protank 3 Mini to supplement when my sub-ohm qualified e-juices are, dwindling down to almost non-existent levels, or I'm just pure plumb run out. And there's no foreseeing in the foretellable future when sub-ohming e-juice is going to come my way. That's when the old stuff comes on out, and that's when the Protank 3 Mini says, hey, I'm back. Remember me? But I'm going to load this up with the last of my 24 Nick Black Clove, which used to be my most awesome favorite. Just do a little load up here. Boom. Don't want to go all the way to the top. You want to have it down to right about there to where it is. You don't want to go full top side because it can make a mess in here. It starts getting pretty airy and a lot of open space in here. And then what I would do is, take that and make sure that it's properly loaded and seated inside the bottom. Bingo it is. It's in there real nice and tight. Slide the top chimney or the top, chimney piece of your Kangaroo Tech micro coil right there. Dead center to the chimney. Boom. Start screwing the base to the base that holds the Pyrex and retains the top chimney, which retains the drip tip. So that is all the way juiced up now. I'm just going to set that on down. Wait for it to wick up for about 10 minutes, and then we will go above the shoulders time, and I'll wrap this video up, take a couple puffs for you, see what it can do, see what it's all about. It normally takes about 10 minutes. I usually set the timer for 10 minutes on a Kangaroo microcoil. You won't have to wait that long. I'm actually going to launch you 10 minutes into the future while I wait in real time to wait this bad boy out. So I will see you in a jiffy, but for me, it's 10 minutes. Okay, we're back. The wicking process for the Protank 3 Mini here is done. It's been roughly about 12 minutes. I had to stick here in real time and wait it out, which isn't a big problem. I want to make sure it gets done right. It gets done right the first time, but you all got launched 10 minutes into the future, so welcome back. Then 12 minutes of wicking up the juice inside the tank, and roughly you've got to give it about 10 to 12 minutes at a minimum. I used to give it 20, but I was kind of craving nicotine once upon a time. I was like, I can't wait. And a friend of mine just said, give it 10 minutes. Set the microwave timer at 10 minutes. When it goes beep, beep, you're ready to bake. So this has been sitting, 12 minutes. And as you can see, the level of the juice has gone down. That's called settling. That's completely normal. Don't fill this all the way up to the top and you're screwing it all on there. And throughout the wicking cycle, waiting your 10 to 12 minutes, you're going to notice that juice go way down. It is now being absorbed. It was absorbed by the wick material. It has been fed through the wick material into the fire chamber, as I like to call it, where the coil resides in here. So it sucks a lot of that juice into the wicking material and forces it on in, which takes away a lot of the inventory right here inside the tank with e-juice. So don't let that scare you. That's about normal right there. Almost at the halfway. That is what used to get me by for maybe 2 or 3 hours out of the day until I had to reload it again with the Black Clove or whatever other Mount Baker vapor I used to buy. So that's had a time, and I'm going to pull out of retirement the iTaste VB 2.0 here, set for 7.5 watts. And I build my Kangaroo heads similar to, like, I have a video in my Vaporosity playlist about that, so if you want to go check it out. But normally I build my Kangaroo coils to 1.5 ohms. So 1.5 ohms on a 7.5 watt device, not a problem. And remember, this is ego. This is ego threaded. This is not 510. You just can't grab something similar to like a, your Sigelli 150 TC or your Sigelli 100 Plus or your IPv3 or IPv4 or something that's only 510 threaded. This will not fit on top there. Plus, this isn't really meant for those type of devices in the first place. But it is meant for my very first entry mod, a little vape pen. So I'm going to mount that on there. It is Ego to Ego, set for 7.5 watts. And normally what I do is get a good feel. Okay, it's on there real good. Don't over wrench it. You don't ever want to over wrench and have anything just and then make a mess, do some damage, just to the point to where it feels real, starting to feel kind of tight, and let it go. So here we are, 7.5 watts. Pulled the iTaste VV 2.0 out of retirement, and here we go. Gonna take about 2 or 3 prime puffs without the burn. Don't engage the button. Just there. That's enough. What that does is it'll test. If you're into rebuilding them, and if you rebuilt it, it'll test the airflow of the rebuilt coil to see if you're going to get paid in the pay as vapor. It also draws more of the juice into the wick. It kind of shows it which direction you want to go. You're kind of training the juice, training the wick to feed it into that coil real good, and you're also testing airflow. So here we go, 7.5 watts, iTaste VV 2.0. Sorry, I had to make an adjustment down there. Because if you really over wrench it, especially with the rebuilds, they're kind of like flimsy with that bottom plug. They don't kind of like an over wrench, but that was okay. And this is strictly mouth to lung. This isn't like the more advanced gear that right now is making me feel like this. Is like, this feels foreign and alien to me, but the advanced gear does. And back in the day, I was like, ooh, I just created a lot of vapor. And nowadays, it's like, I just created a lot of vapor. That's the vapor. But this is okay. I mean, it's strictly mouth to lung. Form a little personable cloud for your own personal little airspace. You're really not going to annoy anybody who might be in the room who's either, truly vape sensitive or just psychologically vape sensitive. And again, Ego threaded, and the iTaste VV 2.0 isn't the only type of device. Eventually, you are going to rotate. You are going to evolve away from similar vape pens, entry-level devices such as that, and eventually you're going to go to more serious gear like the Vamo V5. Fires down to 3 watts up to 15 watts, variable watts. I got a product review video for both of these in my Vaporosity playlist. So if you're curious about any one of these devices, they're in there. You can watch the video and formulate your own opinion on how you like it. But if you were going to feed it onto things such as a Vamo, I first recommend that you remove the beauty ring. You want to monitor the bass as much as you can. Of course, the Vamo V5 has an Ego. It's both 510 and Ego. It's like an adapter got built in there. So, again, visual contact, good feel, don't over wrench. There, and I'm going to set this at 8 watts. We'll see how she goes. Fires better on a Vamo than it does an iTaste VV 2.0. That's just my personal opinion. The Vamo has been a workhorse. This lasted me about 2 months into my vaping adventure, and about 2.5 months, Vamo came in. Vamo made this go on the shelf, collect dust. But and then if you really want it to look good, you can always slide the beauty ring if the impressions are important to you. There you go. That's what it looks like on top of a Vamo V5. And we'll take another couple more hits here. That really feels alien to me. It's great. I know I'm getting 24 Nick right now. It's real great. But when you want to take it off of a similar device, like a Sigilli SW20, Vamo V4, Vamo V5, Vamo V6, all that kind of stuff, take the beauty ring off first because you want to maintain good visual contact with that base, and you want to be able to grab it at the base, because if you grab it too much on top, you're actually going to separate the base where the coil is to the base to where the tank is, and you're going to have a fillet of, it's going to look like E-Juice Niagara Falls on your hand. So make sure you got good visual contact, good physical contact. You're taking it off directly at the bottom, and it can be confirmed that way. Now, if you don't have any more entry-level gear, such as an iTaste VV 2.0 or a Vamo V5, and you vape forward those, or you sold those and you don't have it, my IPv4, which has been recently updated to the S, be it free of the internet, can do 120, go down to 10. This in a pinch, as long as you have a 510 Ego thread adapter. You take, like my Lima 1, which again, there's a product review video on my Vaporosity playlist about this, and I even did a bonus coil build on it for you. Take that, put that off to the side. Take your 510. Oh, this is going to look weird. If you have an Ego adapter, you can go out, if you don't have one, go out and get one. I got my two on eBay for $4.99 each from a supplier down in Los Angeles. If you go to a brick and mortar, I've seen them $11.99, $13.99. Don't buy them at a brick and mortar. Go to eBay, go to Amazon, go to Fast Tech, go to whatever. But buy them online, much cheaper. So there it is. Now we're Ego certified. Put your Protank 3 Mini, Ego only, Ego threaded, atop your adapter, on top of your box one. Man, that looks hella weird. But and then you got to make sure, like the my IPv4 fires all the way down to only 10 watts. So we're at 10 watts. A little high for this. Again, a 1.5 ohm coil, home built. But let you know it can work on devices like this in a pinch. It's not recommended for long term. This is short term until you can either, you know, muster up one of these type again, or you've just clearly rotated away from the Protank 3 Mini. You're on to bigger and better things, and you'll never revert. You never have to worry about this then. But wow, it fires better on an IPv4 than it does a Vamo V5. That's a first. Wow, it just took the Protank series title away from the Vamo V5. But that's how it goes. Again, it can work on vape pens. It can work on more things that are more in the mod territory, like the Vamo V5, Sigilli SW20, Vamo V6 and 7, and etc., etc. Can be used on real mega powerful, more advanced gear like the IPv4, IPv6, which is, this is the upgraded to the S model. It can be used on the Sigilli 150, Sigilli 100, as long as you have the Ego adapter. So I'll work on wrapping this up and take a couple more puffs for you. That's decent. It's hitting good now. We've plateaued. The coil's settled in, the wick's settled in, it's trained for juice on how to get it to the coil. Good airflow inside now, we got stability, it's got teeth, and again, 10 watts, a little high for it, but it appears to be handling it. Again, a mouth to lung only tank. Do not treat a Protank 2, Protank 3, Protank 3 Mini as a sub-ohm tank. Do not go, especially with the high nicks, like me, I got 24 in here. Do not go straight lung. This is a mouth to lung only tank. If you go direct lung on, you know, high nicks or something like that, you take a chance of getting a little nicotine poisoning, getting a little loopy, and medical attention might be needed down the road. But And also, do not build to the point of sub-ohming on a Protank 2, Protank 3, Protank 3 Mini. I've read the manufacturer's official legal white papers as far as safety is concerned. These are not rated for sub-ohming. If you're going to get into the home-built coil scene, if you're going to watch my video and learn and say, well, if I take a couple reps out of the process, it'll drop down the ohms, then it'll be sub-ohming. Don't do it on these things. Listen to me. Don't do it. The company's official legal white papers for safety, product safety, state that these are not rated for the sub-ohm. Only build from, like, on devices that can only fire, above 1.2, devices that can fire above, like, 1.2, and devices that can fire just about anything. So, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, 1.6, 1.7, 1.8, all the way up to 2.2. If you're going to do home built, build them up there. Don't sub-ohm on these. That's my PSA for the day. But I'll let you go. Take one more toke. Great flavor. Almost as good as a Limo V1. But with that, I will bid you adieu. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for being in my home for a while and hanging out. And I will be releasing an IPv4S product review up here momentarily, probably in the next week. And until then, it's been a pleasure. Again, thank you for visiting me. Hope you're having a wonderful day, everybody out there. Bye-bye now.